Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Wanted to do a quick video about me as a realtor compared to other realtors, and also give you a quick little hint, tip, idea, and suggestion. No, I'm not bald underneath. No, I don't have a bad haircut. Yes, I'm sitting in the middle of my house with a sweater on, with a t-shirt on, with jeans on. Um, as you know, the cost of heating a house has gone through the roof this year. The cost of inflation on everything is just soaring. So all of us have to find ways to be able to cut costs because the costs are just through the roof. And so at the end of the day, I wanted to shoot this quick video on ways that I keep my thermostat down. It gets so freakingly cold, and I have a problem with my thyroid as well too, where my hands and my feet get cold. Because I've had the two massive reconstructive open heart surgeries as well too, because I've been frozen twice to 31 degrees, clinically dead twice, my blood is thinner than what your blood is. And it gets pretty darn cold. That's why I live in the south of Canada. I can't go any further south in Canada than what I am right now. So some of the things that I do to be able to stay warm, since so much of your body heat goes up through your, in my case, without any extra insulation there, goes up through your smokestack, by putting a hat on during the day and walking around with a hat on at home. It's 1:50 in the afternoon. It helps to keep me warm. I don't feel so cold. So that means that the furnace doesn't need to be blaring as much. And so there's different hints, tips, tricks, and suggestions for you as well too on how to lower your total natural gas costs, because they are going up very, very strongly. I think our natural gas bill went up like $65 last month over last year's gas bill. So trying to be able to maintain those costs are very, very important because it keeps money in our pocket rather than giving them to the gas company. And it also helps to keep money in our pockets so that we can do some other stuff with that money. So there's your little hint, tip, idea, and suggestion, what I'm already doing here today. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I look at costs and say, do I need to spend, $7 million to the natural gas company every day? And is there ways that I can be responsible enough to be able to stop from giving 7 million and only give them 6 million per day? This is the way to be able to do that. So, but I wanted to also touch on something else from a realtor's perspective. So there was a house on Church Street that just recently sold, not using any addresses or anything. And it sold okay. It sold for 370. It's a very active current listing that just sold. And I was asked by my clients to go see it, who are from Toronto. So I went in and it was the Saggy house. It was a house that had been sold several years ago. I had seen it at that point in time too. It had beautiful gardens in the backyard, but the gardens had gone bad. And a lot of different exterior maintenance things were not necessarily being kept up very well by the current seller. And when I was out there, I said, this is the Saggy house. I know it now. And then when I got into it with the videos that I had put out there, the stairs were tilted in. It looked beautiful, as far as, the updates that the house had in the couple of years. Interior, not exterior. The exterior looked sad. Disrepair. But the interior was, oh, wow, look at how nice the interior is. Till you realize how much the house is sloping. And I went downstairs and shot a 10-minute video, which I think is still here on YouTube, about that particular house and about the cracking floor in the basement and about all of that. And so I was chatting with a different realtor And that house came up. And I said, oh, yeah, no, that house had some very serious structural issues. And she said, it's funny because another young person on my team or on my staff or whatever, who knows where they're related at, don't need to know that. But another young person from my office, let's just say it that way, had written on that home and was upset that they didn't get it. I didn't know that it was that bad. I said, oh, yeah, it was terrible. It's actually a good thing that her client didn't win the house because it was sagging so bad and it was not supported in any way. I said, you know me, I've done video on that particular house. And it dawned on me that what I think is normal as a realtor, that as your realtor, when you contract with me, I think it's normal that I'm supposed to let you know about houses. I think it's normal that I'm supposed to point out what I see. I don't know any other way. Then that's normal to me. That, hey, look, this electrical plug is shorting out. Look, there's you can see where the flames came out of this electrical plug, especially if I'm looking right at it. And if I'm doing a video for you and I see it, then why wouldn't I want to capture it on that video? Because you would need to know. Maybe there's a problem with that particular electric box. Maybe if I bought this house, I really need a certified electrician to come by and look at that one box. Because maybe there's something going on there. And that's all that I am as a realtor. I'm not an inspector. I'm not an electrician. I don't have my journeyman's card for all of this stuff. But I can see that, wait a second, there's, that flamed at one point in time. Just as the house on Church, when I walked down the basement, the very first thing I seen was all the cracked concrete. And that's what holds the house up. The concrete floor does several different things in a house, structurally. Now, I haven't taken any formal training on, construction processes and stuff like that, but it's common sense. You would think it's common sense. It's really not common sense, apparently. And so at the end of the day, it dawned on me that there's a massive difference between realtors. And it was confirmed with me last night when I was chatting with this other older realtor. She said, I'll have to get with that young person in my office because I'm surprised that she didn't notice that. I said, yeah, the house was bad. The house, the stairs weren't even supported at all. They were just in the middle of the air. She said, what do you mean? I said, there was no posts supporting the stairs and they were sloping into the house. They were not a good thing. Don't know beyond that. I'm not a structural engineer, but these aren't supposed to be like this. And then I said they were, and the trip hazards, and I had even said on my video that I was getting dizzy because of how the house sloped. And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, I've had 2 strokes. And when I was in that house, it was like, ugh, because it was moving in each direction. It was so hard to fully understand. So what I get now that scares people off when you're thinking about working with me is that I care about that stuff. I pay attention to that stuff. It's part of my my being. It's part of my me. And I feel that if I don't share that with you and you end up buying that house, then I've done something wrong. And maybe that's what the problem is with the career path of real estate. Because we're not certified or a full profession from the government of Canada's perspective, we are just people that take 5 classes and walk around and do contracts. That's all we do from the government of Canada's perspective. But I feel that, hey, if I'm making a substantial income, then I should be a professional at this business. And so What I'm trying to say is that you have choices on who you work with as a realtor. Um, I'm just different. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, period. End of discussion. That's how I am. I'm not going to push you to make a decision on a house. It has to be your number, not mine. I'm going to guide you. Here's what I think the house is worth. I've got an offer going off on a house today. And I worry that it's not a high enough offer, but it's because it is technically in my head, it's worth a little bit more. Its market value is a little bit more. And that's the training that I have as an appraiser. I've taken the appraisal classes. I've been an appraiser, a student appraiser. I've done field work in appraisal. And so I worry that my offer for today with this couple may not be high enough based upon what I think that the house is worth, but I know it's very close. And there's only so much money in the till for this couple, so they've gone at it with where they can be. Based upon my recommendation as well, too, based upon the condition of the house, based upon all of the different checkbox that this house has for them. So when you're looking at and interviewing realtors, I'm a different beast. I'm trying to protect your money as best as possible. And so speaking of that, I'm a fiduciary as well, too. I'm a financial advisor, which means that I'm a fiduciary. And so I come at real estate in a completely different way. I come at real estate not as just a person with 5 classes that just wants to sell you something and get a commission check. I come at it as a guy who's a full professional, who's a fiduciary that sits there and says, hey, your money is really important. And I guess that's what is different about me. That's a massive value add for the right people that truly want to buy a good house rather than a slopey house that is could, at the end of the day, could potentially hurt somebody. Your house shouldn't hurt you. And you could always go back in and watch. I think it was a 10-minute video here that I put on YouTube, and it was Church Street. Before I go and delete that video. There's a couple of videos that I'll be deleting here as well too later on today when I have a chance to go in there. But now I'm just getting ready to send this offer over for this young couple to see if I might be lucky enough to be able to sell a house in the month of January. That's one of the other struggles in the real estate business too, is I had the best month ever in December, and so then you want to carry it over into January, and you're working your butt off in January, trying to get something to stick in January in any of the business units, and then you get to the end of January, and you're like, gee, I should have just been in Florida the whole freaking month. But that's one of the other things about this business as well too. That's just brutal. Is just that you get to the end of January and it's like, okay, what did I do all month? Well, why isn't there anything to show for it, type of thing. But that's just also part of our winter market here in the city of Windsor, because it is crazy busy and crazy competitive out there as well too. So thanks for watching. If you're looking for a professional realtor that actually gets it, that is different, that is not worried about wearing a cap in the middle of wintertime inside my house to keep my house a little bit cooler, to help me keep my natural gas, and to give you hints, tips, ideas, and suggestions by showing you what I do. It might be the stupidest thing in your house to wear a cap, but my house, it's not necessarily stupid at all, because I'm toasty warm and the thermostat is only 70 degrees. The furnace isn't on right now, which is a nice plus, because I'm not having to pay natural gas, or at least I'm paying only the natural gas that the pilot light burns. But anyway, so thanks for watching. If you are looking for a realtor that actually gets it, that's a little different, give me a jingle, 519-995-6145, 519-995-6145. Be more than happy to help you here find a good house. That's important. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.